over the last 1.5 years, we have seen a lot of political upheavals. I think His Majesty the King was indeed very anxious to see that politics would take a back seat to, for example, the efforts to combat the pandemic as well as to revive the economy. And under our constitutional convention, indeed the king could advise not only the government but also the opposition as to what they should or should not do. But of course, this would be just advice. Ultimately, it's still up to the government, and at least here we have the major opposition to decide what they would like to do. And apparently, they decided to enter into a so-called confidence and supply agreement in the form of an MOU. And I think the most important thing about this sort of MOU is that, number one, both sides would need to have a level of trust on each other. The opposition, we have to trust that the government would indeed implement or at least bring to Parliament for a vote those reform proposals. The government, on the other hand, we have to trust that Pakatan Harapan in this case would indeed vote or abstain from vote when it comes to, for example, confidence motions, which could decide the rise and fall of the government. Now, frankly speaking, we are now still at a very, very early stage as to whether this sort of confidence and supply agreement would indeed hold in the longer term. But I have seen, of course, from what you showed just now in parliaments, the members of parliaments, they are engaging in very substantive debates on very important issues such as child protections and so on. Hopefully, this sort of spirit will prevail for the longer period to come.